I see it as a positive thing. It allowed me to sort of like reevaluate where I was going, where I was heading in life, and to begin, making those decisions that, recouped my life. And, I'm going to be responsible for my future instead of someone else, and life just sort of like hitting me and accepting that. So when Forever came along, it was kind of the right time. I was sceptical about it, I must admit, and I eventually plucked up the courage to take that leap of faith and get involved, because I knew that if I'd applied myself to this business as hard as I have over the last sort of like 20 years of progressing in my career, that I could definitely make a good show of it. So, yeah.
Well, I had a sweet shop, as I mentioned earlier, and for me, I went to a breakfast networking meeting and had the fortune to run into Cherry Huntley. And Cherry introduced me to the products, and I was really wanting to take something that would improve the benefits and benefit my health, because I was running my own business and I didn't want to have time off work and be ill, so I thought, great, I'll try this product. She also offered the business opportunities, we all do that as well, and I wasn't interested. I must admit, I was very sceptical, and I just wanted to take the products. I've just ventured out doing the sweet shop on my own, and I just needed to focus on that. Took the products, and for 2 years really benefited from them. Funnily enough, in that time I did actually, for one person, buy them some of the products, and somebody else got them at cost price, because I had joined and was just doing it for the benefit of myself. So it's funny, it wasn't until after I joined that I was able to sort of explain the benefits through going through this process, and they wanted to buy it, pay normal price, pay full price. I couldn't really do it before because I hadn't gone through the process of actually doing this. So took the products for 2 years, and then I think something clicked. 2 years later, somebody across the road from me joined the business through another network. I went to one of her introductions just to support her. She knew I was already a business owner. I was quite interested to see how it was done. And I just suddenly thought, yeah, I think this is the time. So I came back to Cherry, and Cherry welcomed me with open arms. And so that was the start of it for me. Okay. Right, we're going to look now at retailing. Retailing. So once I'd started trying the products, and as I said, I recommended it to other people, but I didn't know enough about aloe, the process. There is so much to learn and know, and you do that, through all the events that we have. So what I started to do, they all come up, don't they? Yes, all right. Andy did the slides, so I'm just getting used to this. So what I started to do was to share it with friends, with family. If I was at my workplace and people came in, quite often people come in to buy sweets and also to have a chat. Quite often it's about how they're feeling and their ill health. So it was a perfect opportunity to be able to share with people the experiences I'd had, things I'd benefited from, and to start learning about new products that there were that might be able to benefit them. So whether it's in my shop, as it was then, or, for example, last week I was out and about, I was doing the C9 cleanse, it just started, went into a coffee shop, and I was a bit frustrated because I couldn't have a coffee, so I asked what decaf things they had, and herbal things, and the girl got chatting to me, and I said it was a C9. She said, I've heard of that, what is it? And aloe vera, and I said, it's, explained how the C9 worked, and she said, I'm really interested, so we swapped Facebook details, and it just shows you, if you're not sort of enthusiastic, passionate at talking about these things, to everybody, it doesn't have to be, you're not necessarily thinking of selling, you're just talking about your lifestyle and how much it's benefited you, and that's really what speaks to people, I think, and they connect with you. So, yes, that's what I did.
Very quickly, there will be a chance to ask us any questions at the end of this as well, so if you do think of anything while we're speaking, I'll make sure you jot your questions down. But I kind of started with my who do you know list and my warm market, so I worked through that. And one person in particular on that allowed me access into a local gym. And I started going to the gym regularly because that's something that I missed out on when I was working, so it allowed me to lose a bit of weight. as well as other things as well. So what I did, I began developing that relationship in the gym. Because I was there all the time, I could meet the people that were actually using the gym as well. So that was really useful. Did a couple of product launches as well, so it got people familiar with the products, especially the C9s. And I also got stuff in the vending machine as well, so it was really useful to start building up those retailing CCs initially when I first started the business. So that was really useful as well. So yeah, the product launches were absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Super, and of course, as we all know, most of us have been doing this as well. For people that are new, the thing that I think really helped everybody when they joined this business to have peace of mind and feel that they could move forward was the International Alloy Science Council certification, which is here, and the 60-day satisfaction guaranteed money back. As most of us know, this aloe vera is hand filleted, it's the inner leaf gel, it's pure, and it's got that stamp on it to prove it. There's a whole wealth of information about the process of how aloe came to be, and it's a really interesting process. I won't go into that now, but that is just showing you there that they have that proof. The 60-day satisfaction guarantee, again, that is the one for all of us that gives us the confidence to be able to recommend. We can't say it will do this for you, we can say it can help with this, and then it's up to people to make that choice to give it a try, but they have the guarantee of knowing that if it doesn't, they can get their money back, and that's why their rate of return is less than 1.5%. Okay.
So just moving on slightly and developing these relationships and moving on to Facebook. So what I was doing, I was quite making the business prominent in a very, very subtle way on Facebook. So I was incorporating, we were using the products obviously, and family use the product, we put a little picture on there. People automatically start naturally inquiring about the product and what they do. So that was an opportunity then, for us to say, okay, well, why don't you order some? Why don't you try some? We've got a 60-day money-back guarantee, so if it doesn't work for you, then there's absolutely no problem coming back and asking for your money. So that was another way of getting in retailing and getting the customers in, which again was really organic and really natural way of doing things, not forcing it in front of people, because that's not what Facebook is really about. Then on from that, we introduced a flash sale, which was really good. So we invited people that were interested in the product onto a flash sale on Facebook, and then that generated more CCs from there. So really sort of like building relationships and very, very useful way of doing that. So.
Super. For myself, we all have sort of different strengths and weaknesses in this. And for myself, I was nervous about doing product launches. And I was terrified that I'd invite everybody and nobody would turn up. And it's nothing different, I'm sure, from many people, unless you're super confident and have those feelings. And I didn't want it to be too big, because I think with a smaller group you can get to talk about people's sort of health things in a sort of more comfortable environment. Some people like to have lots of people come, there's nothing wrong with that, that was just my personal preference. So each time I had 4 or 5 people, and I booked 2 for 1 month and 2 for the next month. It was quite good to give those 2 dates to people, so that if they couldn't make one, there was another one to put them into, so they sort of felt there was something there for them. It also means you kind of get them to come. I had cherry do my first one, which was really, really helpful. And the second one, I started to talk a bit more. I read a lot about the aloe and its benefits, especially the ingredients within it, which really does tend to impress people, because it's remarkable what this plant contains. It really is, the single Bible with a miracle plant. It really is wonderful. So I was able to talk and share that with people, and they were able to ask questions. At the end of it, I generated each time over £100 worth of sales. Some people do a lot more than that, but it really is a case of just going for it. It's not we were talking earlier about the horse racing, where you've got horses going, coming back. We're all different, and we all have different times at which we sort of go further or come back or go further. And I think for you, if you're doing product launches and it's something new to you, it's really important to not put too much pressure on yourself, just to really invite who you invite, get them to come along and have a really nice evening. I don't think about big sales, it's not about selling, it's about sharing information and the love of aloe. So I really enjoyed my product launches, I got a lot out of that, but the key thing for me about product launches was I got some regular customers. So it was another way of backing up, if I was talking to people out and about, it was another way of backing up having customers, a loyal customer base of the 20 to 30 that we try to build up.
So sponsoring is obviously another aspect of what we do, and top left hand corner there is this happy guy on the phone.
Happy Andy.
Yeah, happy Andy. One of the areas that I really had to concentrate on, but I'd always on the phone to someone in my normal job. So when it actually came to talking to people about the opportunity, I really had to dig deep and start getting on the phone. So that for me was a key point in getting my business going. And what I listened to actually was Andy Waring, Make the Phone Your Friend. And I really took that on board when I listened to it, because it's got some key points about doing something with a sense of urgency, structuring what you're actually going to say, and knowing what your end result is going to be. When you actually are on the phone and when you put down the phone. So you really have a purpose when you pick up the phone, whether it's speaking to a customer or speaking to a prospect and introduce the business to them. So that for me was really useful. And yeah, Andy Waring, Make the Phone Your Friend. Yeah.
Okay, relationships. Again, it's just building on the people that you've invited or the people that you've met, building up those relationships, making sure that you're contacting them regularly, asking how they are, if products have worked, if they haven't worked, suggesting other things. So it's generally just keeping in touch with them and making sure that you're building the relationship. Not just getting the sale and then sort of not doing anything about it, but following up and having some consistency there.
And following on from what Cathryn was saying, building this relationship, there's a bit of a theme going here. You really organically build a relationship so you can make your business sustainable, because that's the best way it can really grow. If you force it, then you probably find that it would collapse after a short space of time. So it really does have to be a natural thing. And getting to that point and being a good listener to people is crucial, because at the end of the day, you've got to make sure that they have something, or they've got something in their mind that they want or need. And listening to that, I think, is fundamental. It's, what we class as a hot button. You need to know what motivates them. So being a good listener and sitting back and nodding and taking it on board is really crucial. It's a crucial skill.
So bringing these things all together, we come to this picture here, which is the business cycle. You can't read it from where you are. Why do this? Why sponsor? Well, we know the benefits that we can get sponsoring. This really is to represent the business cycle. Who do you know? Family, friends, colleagues. Basically, talking to anybody, like we've always said, who has hair, skin, hands, feet, the eyes, anything. Talk to them, share. Following up then, I'm trying to read this myself, it's contact. So yeah, make sure you then do take the next step, contact them, and follow that up. You can then invite them to business presentations. That, as we all know, there are plenty of those going on, Exeter, Plymouth. Bring them along to a presentation, and then move on to the action, which is planning and moving forward, and that cycle then starts again. So you just do that with new people. So it is quite clear that all these things fit together on a sort of ongoing process.
Yes,
Okay.
So consistent activity. We'll start with planning, because we've all heard this saying: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, and that is so true. If you don't have any direction or any point that you want to reach, how are you going to be able to work it out? How are you going to be able to move your business forward? And that, for me, was really important. Get your head around that as soon as you possibly can. And using stuff like the 7-day planner, using stuff like the points recording sheet for all the different activities, because what that will do, it'll actually highlight the areas that you're not maybe doing enough work in, that you need to concentrate more time. So that is another crucial part of obviously moving your business forward.
Enthusiasm and passion, so I've taken the products for a number of years, so I was very enthusiastic. When people get the new boxes, they're usually just as enthusiastic when they start trying things and seeing the benefits. So sharing that with people sometimes, and my daughter, I was talking to her this morning, she said, sometimes you can know everything about a product, but if people actually want you and your enthusiasm about the product, sometimes that is what makes them want to try something. So having a little bit of enthusiasm and passion can go quite a long way.
4cc discipline, I think pretty much everyone in the room knows what that is. Simon and Sherry discussed it just a second ago. But there's the 4cc discipline is the building blocks. We really have to strive to do a bit of retailing, do a bit of sponsoring, using the products ourselves, and showing other people the way to go as well. So just making everything easy to follow and something that you can duplicate. But don't underestimate the 4cc discipline. Try and get into it as soon as you possibly can in your business, and that will push it forward. There's no doubt about that.
Okay, so moving on to learning the business. You get your pack come through. There's lots of information. It can be a bit overwhelming, knowing where to start with things. But if you go to the new synergy site, and you follow the steps there, it makes it easy. I tend to try and rewrite everything, and I tend to do things back to front. Fortunately, I sponsored someone who's got a lot more clarity than me, and has given me some direction in having a systematic approach. So if you're not good at it yourself, find someone who is, and get them to help you. But yeah, learning the business, basically following those things, following the structure that's there to help you, not thinking you have to reinvent the wheel, it's all there. Okay?
Oh, okay, so events, here we are. You're at one. For me personally, and I know it's the same for Cathryn as well, they're ever so important to keep going to the events, keep going to the business presentations, because it really does help you to build your business in ways that you couldn't even possibly imagine until you go there and do it consistently. The recognition, if you can see that okay, was a big thing for me, because never had any recognition before at all, and I've worked my absolute arse off, for the last 20 years, halfway through my 40-year plan, and all of a sudden I get involved with people who are keen to give me recognition. I wasn't used to it, I must admit, it was a feeling that was alien to me, but once I got my head around it, I thought, actually, I do deserve this. I actually do, and so do you as well. So when you're recognised in such a positive way, it really does help, and that happens at events regularly. So.
Okay, so team building, another aspect of this that really does help you to feel secure, and it's, like we said earlier, a safe environment and an open environment where we're all able to support one another. Going to team building events like this will really help you to build a structure to make your business move forward. I think it's the one thing that when you're running your own business and you're at home, it's nice to be able to do that, but it's also nice to have colleagues around you, other business owners that you can have time with and learn from and grow with.
And just obviously moving on from Cathryn saying about the learning, they are very educational as well. You may have been to 1,000 events, but you could go to one day and think, oh yeah, I know it all and everything else, but there might just be one little conversation, one little bit of information that you take on board will actually transform what you do and give you that extra bit of motivation. And listening to people give you that kind of advice as well can be entertaining. You can have quite a laugh at these events as well, and you shouldn't really go in there sort of like saying, right, I've got to do an exam, I've got to sit there, take loads of notes. Enjoy yourself. It really is very sort of like a broad spectrum of emotions.
After all, it is an ambitious statement.
Well, it is, yeah, to have fun, yeah.
Okay, photo opportunities and motivational speeches. So there's lots of opportunities for photos, but not just photos with colleagues here. One thing you do get is access to people at the very top that have started this business at the early stages. I mean, we've got Cherry as well, who's been here 20 years, 21 years. But there's also people, that are there that have been there from the very beginning, and you get the opportunity to meet or to ask questions, or people that are really successful in the business, and they're not untouchable. Neither is head office, it's got an open door policy, so there are plenty of things that are open to you that will give you those opportunities. as I said, motivational speeches, like you said, you might be going along somewhere and it might just be one thing that really speaks to you, that changes that switch in your head and makes you move forward with something you've been struggling with. And I'm sure this gentleman here had an impact on you, didn't he?
He did. This is actually, this guy here,
I don't recognise him.
his name escapes me at the moment, but it will come to me sooner or later. But I actually saw him do that speech at the Exeter Masterclass and back in November last year. And he didn't have a script, you know, he did it off the cuff, but it came from inside and it came from his journey, which is exactly what we're doing today. We don't have a script. So
it is our lovely Simon, just in case you can't
It was a good one, I must say, and I even congratulated him afterwards. So yeah, it was, like I say, motivational speech is great. And yeah, Simon Hall, that's what his name is. Global Rally qualifiers as well. So you hear about all these incentives, and you hear about people actually getting these incentives and earning them as well. And to see people that you know, people that you don't know, up on stage getting these awards for building their businesses is nothing short of inspiring. And you know, if you don't feel motivated by that, you probably haven't got a pulse. So yeah, that's just one of the additional bonuses of going to these events. You really do sort of see some sort of like, you know, very amazing achievements.
Andy, you've left a gap here.
Yes, there's a gap. There's a gap there. Look.
What should we fill that with?
I don't know. Maybe.
It doesn't look quite right.
It doesn't. No. What else could we get out of the event?
Did you not think of anything else when you were doing this presentation?
I don't know, Cathryn. What do you think?
Oh.
What else do you see at events?
Ah.
Maybe having fun.
Having
having a bit of a giggle.
Having fun, yes.
What about cutting a rug? What about having a little jig? Dancing around your handbag. Now, if you can, at the back, if you can see that, that's Simon and Cherry. That's Simon and Cherry throwing some shapes.
Simon?
Right?
They don't call you snake it for nothing.
No, I had a good authority that he got all of his skills from Cherry.
There we go. So mindset now. Really a key one, isn't it? Because, I don't know, a few years ago, if I'd have looked in this room and seen me doing this, I would have laughed, really. Your mindset, you know, it can make you stand in front of a group of people and feel absolutely terrified, or it can make you see them as your friends and colleagues and, you know, friends, and it, you know, it's not a problem. So mindset is huge, and it's the same with the business. If you can really start to work with your mindset, you can move forward. It's something that I need to, I mean, it's kind of naturally just being around people like yourselves has actually moved my mindset forward and talking about things. I want to take the next stage now and be a bit more proactive in getting books and doing my reading. So, but I like to see this picture here as being where I was heading with my traditional business. I like to think of me now walking away and following Aloe. And you know, it's a new direction, a new beginning, and quite exciting. And yeah, I'm starting to set my goals about where that's going to take me. And this here, lots of voices in your head. I think that was the trouble. This was me exactly. I had too many voices in my head before, so I'd be constantly having this dialogue going on. And it's nice for a change now, because the overriding one was quite negative. I didn't realise it, but it was quite negative. And it's now that it's a much more positive one, being around such people.
Yeah, what can I say about mindset? You know, I was introduced to this. I always knew self-development and, you know, sort of like developing and honing your personal skills existed. I just thought it was, you know, reserved for the Yanks, what they do over there.
Yeah.
But once I got my head around it, I really did embrace it, and it has made a massive difference in my life. Me personally, the way I feel, the way I think. So to have a way to restructure my everyday thoughts helps my business as well as myself. And you know, to sort out what's going on inside the box, you need to think outside the box, and that's what mindset introduces. So once you take that on board, you know, things will start to change. And reading was never, you know, I can obviously read, but it was never a big thing for me. You know, apart from the Daily Star or something like that. I'm joking. Go tell Andrea. No, but books, they've been massive for me. You know, at the moment, I'll be honest with you, I'm actually reading 3 books at once, okay? So I do a chapter last thing at night, first thing in the morning, I'll go through the books and I'll be reading different things, mental strength, which Emma knows about, and a book about business as well, and a book about gratitude. That's a really big thing at the moment, which I'm following over the course of like a 28-day period. So it really does help. I eat books for breakfast, and I eat them for a midnight snack as well, so they really, really do help. So yeah, mindset has been absolutely fantastic for me personally.
Okay, so,
Going
back to, I'd like to get the picture of
the road, yeah.
If I go right back to the beginning.
Yeah, go back.
Okay, so, sorry this is a bit of a long way of going about it, but there's one last thing I'd like to share with you. When I started doing this presentation, it was Andy, myself and Emma, and Andy and I were sort of similar on our journeys. Emma's was slightly different, so she's going to present hers afterwards. But Andy put this slide on, and as soon as I saw this slide, it really, really spoke to me. One thing it reminded me of was that we need to, when we're doing our goal setting and things, having visuals is really important. It's not a strength of mine to actually physically put something on a picture of what I want to achieve, and I've been sabotaging myself, I think, still with that. And just seeing this picture and the ideas that came to my head made me realise how important that is, and I need to move forward with that now. Those of you that have done it will probably see the benefits of doing it already. But this also spoke to me in another way. I thought, this is our journey to Supervisor, or where we want to be, our goals in life. And this journey, this route that we take along the way, we've got a windy road, we've got hurdles to jump over, hoops to get through. But the great thing about Forever Living is that we have people along the way to help us. We can't see around the blind bends, but quite often, if we have the confidence, we take that leap of faith and we go around, there are people waiting to congratulate us at the end, give us a pat on the back, and it's such a wonderful feeling when we do that. We're given the tools and the ability to make that transition and start our road to success.
I think it kind of screams out, set your goals in concrete and your plans in sand, because your plans will change, but as long as you've got your goal and you've got that laser focus, you're like, a heat-seeking missile.
Yes.
It's always going to hit its target, but it will veer off course many times, and that's exactly what we did getting to Supervisor, and like I say, that's why Cathryn was saying it just sort of like resonates.
I've now named Andy the heat-seeking missile. He's very, very positive in his way of thinking there.
HSM for sure.
Yeah. Unique name. There you go. This off you, Andrew, at home.
HSM. Right, we'll just quickly get back to the end now. That does actually bring us to the end of our slot. And yeah, so now we're obviously going to introduce people from the floor. If you do have any questions, shout them out. Not all at once. Well, that's our job, that's an easy thing.
I think we've got Emma coming on next, haven't we?
I think that's something.
I'd like to ask you a question.
Okay.
I think you've already highlighted that it's different for everyone, this journey. This is a question for both of you, because obviously for some of you guys in the room may have not reached the position that they're in at the moment, but nothing is stopping you. It happens really quickly, which I'm sure both of you agree. When did you believe that you were going to do it? Cathryn.
It wasn't just a belief that I was going to do it, I just decided to do it. So I did as much work as I could retailing, and I also decided to invest in the business myself. So because you have to have a certain amount in those 2 months, I chose to get my daughter, she's got her 18th, and she really wanted the kit to help with cellulite. So I got that. So I got a few extra products, and also I want to start doing more events. So I needed to have my table full with some of the other products. So I chose the first initial buying the box was £200, and then I chose this was another stage that I wanted to take that step. So I got some more things so that I could grow my business. So some of it was through retailing, some of it was through that, and I just decided it was worth it because the percentage extra 3% that you get takes it nearer to 40% profit, so your margin I just wanted to be at that margin, so I decided.
Okay.
For me, it was 9 o'clock on the last day of the month, on the second month, when I needed 2 CCs, and I got them, like I say, with 3 hours to spare, and Initially I embraced the supervisor stage when I got there. It's strange because in my head I was like, I'm going manager, get out of the way, I'm doing it tomorrow. But I had to go through the motions to get to supervisor. But by doing that, it really, really made me appreciate where I am now, and I love it. You know, and that is something that nobody's going to take away from me. You know, so all I have to do now is scale things up, do it on a bigger version, and crack out another 75 cc's, which is going to happen. It's going to happen. So for me, realising that I've made it was pretty much on the 11th hour.
You're not HSN for nothing, are you?
No, but you know, it happens in funny ways. Like you say, you know, as long as you reflect on the activities that you've done and your journey, like I say, it kind of inspires me really, because we all do work hard towards what we want to achieve, and for me, supervisor, it was just an amazing feeling, and it still is. So.
Any other questions?
Silence.
Okay.
Can I just add that sponsoring again, that was a key thing to it, wasn't it? The sponsoring definitely, because when you start to get, you know, I've got 4 people, some of them are not as active, but I've got one that's joined that is really keen, and that can really help you when you start getting your team together, and the inspiration and bouncing off one another, that is really key as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well done,
Thank you
both.